All right, so where we left off last time in our tutorial, we had a room with some windows, and we started to do textures. So hopefully you can add more textures than what I've done so far. Everything should really be textured in your room. Okay, I'm not really that worried about the outside, but maybe just for now I'll put some kind of like brick on there or something. Not that I have a brick room, but whatever. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. First of all, we want to start filling up our room with stuff. Remember, the goal of this is to make like your dream room, whether it's a bedroom or a basement or a living room. Kind of think about what you want to design. And maybe it's your dream room. Maybe it's also you want to do like your existing room that you have just to try to model it. So think about what you've got. Um, some stuff you can build yourself. And I want you to try to build a couple things yourself. So for example, if I wanted to build some kind of shelf, maybe I'd find a wall and maybe I'd do like a little rectangle. I'm going to push this out a little bit. Again, I'm just doing like an example. You don't have to do it exactly like me. This is a pretty thick shelf, so maybe I'll push that up a little bit. Maybe also I'll draw like a little arc. If I look at it from the side, I'll draw a little arc here. Again, I'm just doing an example. You don't have to do this necessarily, but I just want to show you, I want you to spend a little bit of time. See how I just drew like this little side profile? This way I can take this extra stuff, I can push this all the way across to the end. See how now I'm just left with this nice little shelf looking thing? So maybe I take a wood texture and I can paint that in like that. So I do want you to build some things by yourself instead of grabbing stuff from the warehouse, which I'm about to show you. So let's say I have a shelf, right? And I want to put some stuff on it. And I want to start gathering, like a bed or a TV or like some plants or something. So here's how we're going to do it. There's a little tool up here. It's called the 3D Warehouse. Again, if you're using the online version, it's on the left or on the right somewhere on that toolbar. It's still called the 3D Model Warehouse. I'm not sure exactly what it looks like, but it might be called the Component Warehouse. But you can still have access to the same type of thing. So if I open this, a window's going to pop up. In the model warehouse, you can see there's tons of things that people have created in here. So let's say I want to find some kind of plant to put on the wall. So I'm just going to type in plant. Now you can see there's all sorts of different models in here. Some under the products tab are like actual official things made by companies. Under the models section, these are more just people who use SketchUp have uploaded their own things. So I don't really care which one you use, but generally I find more under this model section. So let's say I want to bring in a little plant. Let's say we want this, well, we'll do this one. This one looks kind of cool. Now there's a thing that you really need to look for, by the way. First of all, actually, let's see. Notice how I'm signed in up here. I'm signed in under Ms. Swanigan's name right now. Sometimes when you open this up and you try to like click on a file to look at it, it might ask you to sign in. So when you get to a spot where it says you need to sign into Trimble account is what it's called, you'll need to hit the sign in button, and then the info that you're going to use, if it asks you to sign in, which it probably will, is see how I'm on my canvas rotation page, so where we have all of our information, but right here is what you'll use to sign in with, okay? You need to be very careful that you're not trying to like type this in and then you misspell something or use the wrong letter, because if you use the wrong thing, you can lock everyone else out if you try to do it incorrectly like twice, right? So please make sure that you just take this, hit Control-C for copy, go and paste it in, and then the password's right here, copy it, paste it in when it asks you to sign in. And again, you'll just hit the blue continue to Trimble sign in button, and this is what you'll use. So back in SketchUp, once you are in and you signed in and you're looking at a model, I want you to take a look at something real quick. So if I were thinking about using this model, first of all, look at the file size. This is really, really large. This plant alone, you can see, has about 10,000 polygons. A polygon is basically a side in SketchUp, meaning like if I were to think about my room real quick, this is a polygon, this is a polygon, this is a polygon. So my room probably only has, I don't know, 50 to 100 polygons, basically sides. That little plant alone has 10,000. So you have to be really careful that you're not grabbing models that are going to just destroy your SketchUp file because they're so large. So here's what I would suggest. There's a little file size property bar over here. I would suggest that you bring your cap on file sizes all the way down to probably 5 at max, and even that gets pushing it sometimes. So now you're only looking at files that are under a certain amount. Again, I might even do like 3 megabytes, because if you start bringing in a bunch of objects that are huge, your SketchUp file is going to get so slow, and it's going to potentially freeze and just lag and barely load. So please make sure you're not grabbing very large files. One little thing that you can look for is, again, this is still pretty large, but anything that is, if you see like 1,000 KB or something with KB, that's fine. That's under a megabyte. Those are kilobytes, and there's 1,000 kilobytes in a megabyte. So again, if you see anything under probably 2 or 3 megabytes, that's probably fine. Or anything in like 1,000 kilobytes, you can probably make that work. So let's just say I want to use this, right? 2 megabytes. It's a little big, but we'll work with it. So I'm gonna hit download, and then yes, load directly into my Power or my SketchUp. When you bring it in, you'll see that you can move it around. So they come in as a group. All models that you bring in are going to come in as a group. Sometimes you'll notice your models might come in like super huge, okay? Or really, really small. So if your model is not the right size, and you're probably all going to have to do this a little bit of tweaking, remember, S is your scale tool. So scale can shrink it down and make it bigger. M is your move tool. So I'm going to grab my object, right, and move it into place. I'll probably need to scale this down a little bit more to put it on my shelf. Remember, when you're moving something, I don't really want to grab it from like the middle and try to move it around. It's a little bit hard to actually like get it into place when you do that. So when you move something, you want to grab, like, if I want the bottom edge of this potted plant thing to be on here, I'm going to grab it from that bottom edge. And when you hover over the spot that you want it, by grabbing it by the edge, it kind of like puts those pieces together. So this looks okay. I'm just, again, maybe scaling it down a little bit more. And there you go. And I could make a copy. Remember, if I have my move tool, I can tap Control and slide a copy if I wanted, something like that. Maybe I make this one a little bit smaller. So now, again, like you see, I've got some little plants on the wall. So at this point, maybe I go, and you can have fun with this. Again, don't go crazy with these models. Yeah, I want you to build some stuff by yourself, like, like a desk or a shelf or a closet or something. But you can have a little bit of fun. Maybe I'll do like a computer. I'll just take this one. See, this is what I was talking about, the kilobytes. This one's really small, only 100 kilobytes. This is not going to be a very hard to load program. See how this is huge, right? So I'm going to scale this down, move it into place. Maybe I'll do like this in this little alcove here. So if you want to rotate something, because it comes in as a group, if I use my M for move tool, remember we talked about this earlier, but if you hover over a side of a group, you see, it's hard to tell with this, but there's these little red X's. By grabbing those, normally the move tool lets me like kind of move the whole thing, but you can also grab these little red X's and rotate things, right? So if you look at it from the top angle and grab one of those little pieces, I can rotate it that direction. And again, I know that it's straight if I like see how it like locks into that colored axis, the green. That way, now I know it's straight. I can move this back into place, and now I've got a little, I'll scale it a little bit. Now I've got a little computer alcove in my room, okay? Be careful with beds, because sometimes beds and pillows and stuff can be really large files. So again, I would really recommend that you change that file size down to make sure that you're not getting a bed that is just really, really huge, because sometimes when they have all these fancy covers and pillows that have tons of little, shapes on them, it can really lag your computer. So at this point, again, I'm just finding things that I want to include and bringing them in. Again, I might need to rotate some stuff, but at this point, you can kind of design stuff. Remember, if you have a group in SketchUp, you can go in and edit the group. So if you don't like a certain thing, if I use my selection tool, which is spacebar, I can double click my group, and I can basically keep going into each piece and like go all the way down. See how I'm like going all the way into my group until, see, now I've got like clicking again. I double clicked all the way down into where I'm like editing just this piece. See how I can like click all the individual sides. So for example, if I didn't really want that, maybe I want like a dark metal bed or something, or that looks bad. I don't know, I'm just giving an example here. See how now I can go in and change just that one piece, or if I wanted to go over here, I can double click into that group and edit it. And this has like some extra stuff back here. I might erase all that. And then again, I can either click out of the group a couple times or just keep hitting escape, and that gets me all the way back out. That way I'm back out of the group, and then I can move the whole thing around again. So your goal at the end of this project is to have a fully furnished room, textures everywhere, some different objects or decorations. I want you to think about all the little details, right? Maybe I have like a little picture frame on here. One cool thing that I would like you to do is have some kind of art on the wall. So how you would do that is like this. So let's say I wanted to have like an Avengers poster on my wall. So if I just type in, I'll do Avengers poster. So for example, if I want this one, I'm going to find something I like, and this could be any image, just an example. I can right click it, save image as. Again, I'll just save it. I'll call it Avengers or something. Now, if I get myself to a spot, so get your camera about to a location where you want the poster to be. For example, like I think I'm going to put above the bed. So if you get your camera looking at that spot, I'm going to go into my folder. Just any folder down here will do, but I want to go into my downloads where I just downloaded that file. So make your folder a little bit smaller so you can kind of see it on half the screen here. See how here's my Avengers picture? I can just drag stuff right into SketchUp and it will come in as an image. That's why I said kind of get your camera to the right spot, because see how if I drop it over here, it's on that wall or on the floor or up here. So you want to be looking at the spot you want to drop it. Okay, so once I drop it in, again, like any other image, it comes in as a group, so I can scale it around, I can move it, and you can place it where you want. So hopefully now you've got some tips on how to make your entire restaurant, and you can fill it up and make it look nice. Or not restaurant, sorry, your room. We were building a restaurant in 8th grade. To get it all ready to turn in, you're going to just basically once you finish, you're just going to get your camera to some nice angles. For example, like this might be a nice screenshot. So on the final day that we're working on this, you're going to take some snips and those will go in your journal. So I want to see like 3 or 4 pictures probably of your designs from different angles and different like parts of the room, just to show me all the stuff that you did. But you'll just, copy these into your journal. And if you need more room on your journal, so let me open it up real quick. I don't mind if, normally you only have room for about 2 pictures, but if you want to like add a slide, so I can, I think you can do insert down here, new slide. So if you want to add another slide at the end to paste your pictures in, if you run out of room on day 12, that's okay. So I want to see at least 3 or 4 pictures, I would say, overall that show off all of your designs. Okay, feel free to ask questions or rewatch any of these last 2 videos, but I want to see a really cool room. Good luck.